It started with a handshake and a lie. In the dying light of the late summer evening, a dusty wind swept through the gravel lot behind Hal's auto salvage, where dreams went to rust and die. The sky above was burnt orange, the sun yawning its way beneath the horizon. A teenage boy, skinny, awkward, barely 17, stood beside a worn-out blue 1997 Honda Civic. Its paint was chipped, the hood was dented, and the faint hum of hope clung to the boy more than to the car. His name was Jay. He wore a tattered grocery store name tag and a jacket 2 sizes too big. His eyes held a quiet kind of desperation, the kind that doesn't beg but pleads silently with the world to give him just one chance. And that night, the world gave him Hal. Hal was the owner. Fat fingers, stained shirt, and a smirk that conned more than his fair share of the desperate. He approached the car like it offended him just by existing. "What is this?" Hal grumbled. Jay straightened a little. "It's a 97 Civic. It runs. Got new belts. Upgraded ECU. Fuel injection's been cleaned. I did all the work myself." Hal grunted, circled the car once. Looks like it was fished out of the ocean. Jay's hands clenched in his jacket pockets. "I just need 500. Hal turned, pretending to think, then shook his head. 200. And that's charity." Jay hesitated. This car, this thing, was all he had left of his father, a project they worked on together before everything went sideways. But his mom needed meds, and college books weren't cheap. He exhaled. "Deal," he whispered. The keys changed hands, and so did fate. Elijah crouched beneath the Civic, flashlight in hand. 52 years old, graying, quiet, the kind of man who spoke more with his eyes than his mouth. He wasn't just a mechanic. He was an artist who worked with steel instead of canvas. A veteran of underground racing who once roared through midnight streets as the infamous Ghost. But that was before the crash, before the fire, before the night his younger brother died in a twisted wreckage meant for Elijah. He'd quit everything after that, walked away, never raced again, just fixed clunkers for minimum wage in the shadows of men like Hal. But when Elijah saw the Civic, something stirred. It wasn't just a fake rust coating or the expertly worn-down decals. It was a machine underneath. Someone had disguised brilliance with brokenness. He ran his fingers along the custom-welded chassis, the precision of the turbo install, the hidden computer mods tucked beneath the dash. Whoever built this didn't just know cars. They loved them. Hal leaned back in his creaking chair. Feet on the desk, donut crumbs falling onto an open parts invoice. "You'll get a kick out of this," he said, laughing. "That kid, Jay, came back this morning. Wanted the car back. Said he made a mistake." Elijah looked up from his clipboard, eyes unreadable. "And?" Hal chuckled, told him it was already crushed. Sent to scrap. Elijah stood still. "But it's not," he said quietly. Hal rolled his eyes. "So what?" "I paid him." He signed. End of story. Elijah clenched his jaw. He'd seen greed before. But this was theft. Not of metal. Of meaning. Jay sat alone, the glow of a single porch light casting long shadows around him. Inside, his mother coughed violently. Bills lay piled on the kitchen table, unpaid and unforgiving. He stared at a photograph in his hands. It was him and his father under that same Civic, smiling, laughing. His father had died 3 years ago. Drunk driver, wrong side of the highway. Jay had salvaged what was left, physically and emotionally, and poured it into that car. He learned to fix, to rebuild, to create. And in 3 desperate minutes, he'd given it all away. Elijah adjusted the racing harness. His fingers trembled. He hadn't driven in years. But this car, it felt like home. The underground racing world had changed. Faster, riskier, but it still respected mystery. When the Civic rolled up to the line, laughter erupted. Whose grandma brought her grocery cart? Somebody called a tow truck. But then the light turned green, and the Civic flew. It carved corners like water over glass, passed engines twice its size, made muscle cars eat dust like broken promises. 10 miles, for minutes, victory, and no one saw the driver, just a ghost behind the wheel. The TV buzzed inside Hal's office. Police are investigating last night's illegal street race. The surprise winner, a 1997 blue Civic, traced to a local teen named Jay Maxwell. Hal's mouth went dry. He burst into garage. Elijah, what the hell did you do? Elijah didn't look up. I gave the car what it was built for. You idiot. Hal roared. They'll shut us down. We'll get raided. Elijah finally turned. Calm. Certain. They won't. I called the kid's mom. Told her the truth. Title's ready. He's coming for it. Hal staggered. You can't do that. I have to, Elijah said, because if I don't, I'm just like you. Jay arrived with his mother. Her eyes were tired but proud. The Civic stood in the lot, polished, purring like it had a soul. Jay looked stunned. Elijah handed him the keys. You built something beautiful. I just helped it breathe. Jay stared at him, voice cracking. Why would you give this back? Elijah looked past him, to the ghost of a younger self. Because once, someone gave me a second chance. I wasted it. He nodded toward the car. Don't make my mistake. Jay held the keys like they weighed more than gold. And maybe they did. 3 months later, the crowd roared. The Civic, now reborn in graphite silver with clean lines and a number on the side, blazed across the track. Sanctioned, legal, respected. Jay climbed out of the cockpit, helmet off, drenched in sweat, glowing with purpose. Reporters swarmed. Jay Maxwell, Rookie of the Year. What inspired you to build this car? Jay smiled. My dad started it. I finished it. But a man named Elijah reminded me why it mattered. Don't judge what's broken. Sometimes rust hides brilliance. Sometimes what looks like a piece of junk is a legend in disguise. And sometimes the underdog wasn't trying to win. He was trying to be seen. And when you finally see him, the whole world changes. Mine flip true stories with heart, grit, and poetic justice.